Hello, welcome to our fourth session of Foundations of Effective Teaching 1. This is your second flipped session. We will be talking about interactive direct instruction. Please start by reading pages 1 through 40 in your interactive direct instruction tab in your Foundations 1 manual. To start, I'm going to have you remember a time when you began something as a novice and now have become an expert. For those modest people, think of something maybe if you are uncomfortable calling yourself an expert, something that you're very, very good at. Think about what it was like when you first began. Now think about how it's different now. How did you know you had made the transition from novice to expert? Or from novice to really, really good? We're going to chat about this next time when we're together face to face. So maybe jot down what you thought about somewhere in your manual, perhaps in the IDI tab. Novices and experts. How did you feel when you were a novice? How did you feel as you were becoming an expert? And how did you move from novice to expert status? When we talk about a novice, we talk about someone who's working with isolated bits of information. Small steps, perhaps. Novices go by the book. They're mechanical. It's not a smooth flow. Novices complete the task step by step. They're unsure. They feel like they need support, or they do need that support. Novices can do it right as long as everything goes right. This is in contrast to experts who see the big picture. They're able to recognize patterns and experiment, innovate. They're able to interpret and even be more artistic. They can integrate different elements more smoothly. They're confident, independent. They're able to make on-the-spot judgments, and are able to work their way out of difficulties. They even have fixed up or help strategies to get them out of trouble. What I thought about was becoming a driver. I thought of a time when I was just learning how to drive. And now that I've had about over 16 years of practice, I consider myself to be somewhat of an expert, or at least really, really good at it. Thinking about what it was like when I first began and how it's different now, I can think about how nervous I was to get behind the wheel, how I would be thinking about so many different things at once. Now, I feel like I get to school sometimes on autopilot. How did I know I had made the transition from novice to expert? I don't know if it happened over one day, or even in that first year. It took a while, but I think I knew I wasn't a novice anymore when I didn't have to go step by step in my head about all the things I had to do while driving. When I became more comfortable. When I was able to think about other things while driving and not just the steps that I had to take to get somewhere successfully. When I talk about being a driver, going by the book, mechanical step by step, I literally went through a checklist every time I got in the car. Step 1, make sure the lights work. Do I know where the lights are? Can I turn them on and off? I would check my windshield wipers. Do I know where the windshield wipers are? Would I be able to turn them on if it started raining? Is my seatbelt on? Do I know where I'm going? I was unsure. I did need support. When driving with somebody else, I would often ask, can I turn now? Is it all clear? Can that guy go? Or is it my turn? Is this legal? I felt like I could do everything just fine as long as things were going right. It became more difficult when somebody would cut in front of me without using their blinker, or turn when it wasn't their turn. As I became an expert, I didn't have to go through that list. I was able to experiment a little more, innovate. I would be able to take different ways somewhere if there was traffic or a road closure, whereas a novice, something like that could really throw me off. I was able to make those on-the-spot adjustments without being completely flustered. The researchers who have studied interactive direct instruction include Rosenshine, Brophy, Good, Vygotsky, Gage, and more recently, John Hattie. Most of these researchers did their work in the late 60s and in the 70s. Rosenshine observed in classrooms, noting several things. He noted instructional procedures, teachers questioning, frequency of feedback, time spent in presentation, guided practice time, and how the teacher prepared students for independent practice. Researchers compared test scores and reported the practices of those teachers whose students made the most gains on standardized assessments. Students who made the most gains in math and reading had teachers who used effective instructional procedures that were clearly identified and followed. The most effective teachers provided their students the highest amount of instructional support. Throughout the lesson on interactive direct instruction, you will do several things. First, view the learning process in a new way based on cognitive research. Maybe for some of you who recently graduated from your teaching programs, did look at learning in this way. You will, secondly, examine the pattern of direct instruction. And thirdly, practice designing scaffolds that you can provide to students as they learn cognitive strategies. It is important to remember that teachers do make a difference. What you do in the classroom does make a difference in your students' lives. It helps them grow. It helps them learn. You are the important deciding element in what they learn and how much they learn. Sometimes it feels like our students are coming with so much baggage. Some are dealing with poverty, with trauma, all sorts of issues that we could use as an excuse for why they are not growing or learning. But the research shows that teachers do make a difference, and what we do in the classroom can overcome those things, and students can and will learn. Here's a quote from the National Commission on Teaching in America's Future. What teachers know and can do makes the crucial difference in what children learn. Teaching is the most important element of successful learning. What you do does make a difference. That is why it is important to reflect on our practice and improve, because it does pay off for our students. Next, I'm going to have you watch a video from John Hattie about what teachers do to make the most difference. Our time with students are limited. Our time with students is limited. So we want to focus on those things that give us the most bang for our buck.